Okay, now I know you mentioned the memo that you did for Disney, which kind of shaped a lot of their storytelling approach and how they, like you said, developed it into The Lion King. Can you talk a little bit about the process, how you went from a 7-page memo to this long form book, and how did that process work? And what were your thoughts going into that process?
Well, I had tried in the memo to be as general and kind of long shot from the moon, looking down at the earth, to say generally in broad terms, you're going to introduce a hero. The hero is going to maybe be a little nervous or reluctant. They'll maybe have some kind of helper or mentor who gets them on track and reassures them. And then they'll go through in the second act, the major middle portion, they'll go through all of their challenges and setbacks and so forth. And then finally, it'll be resolved. So I looked at it very, very generally. But then I started getting into cases and genres and finding that there were lots of shadings of difference, different emphasis. Also culturally, different cultures put different emphasis on specific aspects of it. They sort of pick and choose from the menu and pull out things that reflect their own sort of philosophy or their local way of going about telling a story. So all that started to add layers to it. And the memo itself just sort of grew by some kind of mathematic progression. It doubled in size and then it tripled in size. And eventually, through teaching especially, it got to the point where this is probably a book. In fact, an agent came to my class and she heard me lecture about this stuff. She said, "This is a book, I see it." And it took a long roundabout path to get it published because it was for the New York publishers that I tried to set it up with. They felt that that's a West Coast idea. It's kind of fringy, or it's a little bit woo-woo, they thought. And they said, we have lots of Campbell books, so we don't need another Campbell book. So I was shut down on that front, on the conventional publishing. But I found a publisher, Michael Weezy, who was just getting started on self-publishing and writing books that would be to empower all kinds of creative people. So eventually he ended up with Michael Weezy Productions with a really powerful library of books on every imaginable film topic.
I have a lot of them. I have a lot of them.
Yeah. He has set design, he has costumes, he has cinematography, editing, you name it, acting, directing, really a wonderful resource. And my book was one of the early ones, and it had a slow start, but it got ground and it kept churning, and eventually it became what they call a steady backlist seller, meaning that it's always there and it's always in print because it said something, I think, useful and classic. This is something that, the winds of change blow and parts of it are shaken and challenged, and that's great. But parts of this thing are really solid and grounded in the earth, and they're not going to change. So that was sort of the procedure there, and I owe a lot to Michael Weezy for his vision to see that and to encourage me. So I've had some help along the way, and it's been an easier ride because of that.